moving on like gangbusters. We'll talk about how that impacts your routes around town. Plus, the council will get its first look at the 2022 city budget on Monday night. What can you expect? We'll dive into all of that this week ahead. All right, the days are shorter. Back to school supplies are on the shelves, and the North Dakota State Fair has now come and gone. The winding down of the summer has begun as the calendar now turns to August. This August will be our busiest month of the year for construction after what was essentially a 2-week intermission. Contractors are hitting it hard this week ahead, and they're probably coming to a neighborhood near you. Chip sealing, a very quick and important maintenance project, will cover a ton of Minot to help seal the roads to prevent water from settling under that pavement and causing all that damage that it usually does. This project moves through pretty quickly, and you'll see temporary no parking signs on the boulevard about 3 days or so before the project even starts. That's your cue. Get your stuff out of the road and be ready. The first neighborhood to experience this for the season will be over near the Perkett Elementary School. But they'll make it all over. You can kind of check that map where all the yellow is where they're going to hit. Projects that stalled for the fair will also be back up and moving on again this month. Projects like Burdick Expressway East. So far, it's been mostly water and sewer infrastructure that's been updated. But coming up this week ahead, pedestrian improvements like ADA accessible ramps and a new road surface will be coming starting up in August. In fact, Jesse Berg, the project engineer, explains what to expect starting August 9th.
We're going to start with that ADA portion of that. And that portion does not consist of just work downtown here. That portion of the ADA sidewalk ramps goes all the way from 16th Street Southwest to 27th Street Southeast. So pretty much every ramp and access to the sidewalk along Burdick is going to be improved with this project. They'll start with those functions outside of downtown, primarily starting on the west end of the project and moving their way east. So we anticipate that to start August 9th. And so the sidewalk will just kind of leapfrog down, moving their way down through the project on one side and the other throughout the month of August. So we anticipate probably, like I said, starting August 9th. And then that first week of September, we would imagine that that's right around when they're going to start moving into the milling and overlaying portion of that, probably going through into the first week, maybe second week of October, with really finishing everything up. You know, we in conjunction with this, when they're doing these other phases, we also are replacing the traffic signals at Valley Street, Main Street, and 3rd Street. So we'll have new traffic signals, new ADA ramps, and a nice smooth new surface on the roadway.
All right, again, that project will actually pick up again, not this coming week, but the week after, August 9th, and you can expect that taking us all the way through into and past September. Now, we've just scratched the surface on traffic impacts as well. This week ahead on 3rd Street, the 3rd Street Viaduct will actually be closed to through traffic for the duration of the week. Work on phase 1 of flood control will shut down that intersection of 3rd and that 4th, 5th Avenue range north of the viaduct. That means north and southbound traffic will be detoured west over to Broadway. That's all starting on Monday morning. I recommend you might want to write that down. While you do that, take a quick note. East-west traffic on 31st Avenue, southwest between 16th Street and 13th Street. Think like Badlands Bar and Grill or the Plaza on 31st. That traffic will actually have to detour substantially. Access to all the buildings and businesses will remain open, but you will not be able to get to places like the Badlands or that farm farm credit location from the west, you have to access that from the east there. And same thing with Plaza on 31st. You'll only have access to that from the west side. Now, I really just scratched the surface, so please make sure you check the full detour map to get all of that information. mindednd.org/road closures is where you need to go. That's where you can find all the information on the roads that are closed, lanes that are closed, and traffic impacts that you might see on your morning commute. If you want to get a quick peek at all the projects left in the queue for the rest of our construction season, which is starting to get shorter and shorter by the day, you can go to mindednd.org/projects. There's a full interactive map there to see what might be coming to your neck of the woods. Now, so much of the work happening on the maintenance projects around here has been a long time coming. They provide small, short inconveniences that extend the lifetime of our roads to avoid long, drawn-out disruptions like reconstruction projects. You may have noticed more and more of these little tiny projects happening. For example, we're doing about 30% more chip seal projects this year than we did last year. That's been the goal for our engineering staff and for council to take better care of our roads to save taxpayer dollars. Now, this week ahead, you'll hear more about measures like that. Monday night at City Council, City Manager Harold Stewart will present his 2022 budget that was compiled after months of number crunching by our finance staff and very thoughtful prioritization by each department based off the guidance and the principles laid out by City Council. The budget you see and hear about on Monday is not the final draft. It's staff's best attempt to give the council a balanced and responsible budget. The rest is sort of up to your elected leaders. The good news is this budget cannot, by state law, increase a single cent after it's presented on Monday, but it can decrease. I would love to take time to break this budget down for you now, but I can't because things may change up to the minute council gets a copy in their hand on Monday. But I do promise we'll take time to dive into it later. For now, if you have an active interest in the 2022 city budget, be sure to tune in on Monday night at 5:30 for that full council meeting. But I do want to take a few moments to highlight a couple very important things. For example, the budget isn't only property tax driven. In fact, very little of the budget comes from property taxes. Things like sales tax or state funding or federal grant dollars are all included in that budget. Another thing to remember is the city is only one piece of your property tax bill. The Minot Park District, Minot Public School District, Ward County, they all have separate budgets that impact you, and those will be coming out soon too, so stay tuned to those respective agencies for what they have planned coming up in 2022. Finally, we have to budget money to actually spend money. Okay, so this is where it gets confusing for a lot of people because they see big numbers attached to budgets. So we'll use an example like NOS and flood control. In order to pay for construction, we need to put it in a budget, even though that we already have that money allocated and in the bank. So just because you see a large number in the proposed budget on Monday does not mean that your taxes are going up to meet that number. It just means we are going to spend some of the money that we already have. I hope that helps answer some common questions we have as we approach Monday night when the budget is presented. Again, I encourage you to watch that council meeting to get the full context delivered by the city manager. And then we do have plenty of touch points throughout the month of August and September before a final budget is adopted come the end of September. Okay, that's going to do it for me today on This Week Ahead. Thanks, of course, for joining me once again. If you have any specific questions for us, I want to hear them. Please Send that to our mailbag. That's mineatnd.org/mailbag. Be sure to subscribe to this newsletter and our other newsletter that we send out every week, recapping our city council discussion and the things that are happening around your city. That's mineatnd.org/the latest to get all of those details. Of course, if you need to be alerted for anything that's breaking or important, we have a way of doing that too. mineatnd.org/alerts to sign up for SMS and email notifications. Of course, you can do it the new old-fashioned way and hit us up on social media. That's, of course, at City of Minot on all your favorite social media platforms. That's going to do it for me today. Thank you for joining me, and have yourself a great week ahead.